Hello, my name is Kezani Sikuni. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to take you through the HOD file and book control form. Like the video or click on the subscribe button so that you can get a notification in future whenever I release a new video. As I've indicated, we are in our today's episode going to be looking at the template of the HOD file and book control template. So in terms of when the HOD is about to carry out his or her job, he or she should have a time whereby files and learners' books are checked. So in order to be able to carry out that particular responsibility, a template like the one that you are seeing on the screen now is very so. It is not only limited to this type of a template. You can come up with your own creation in terms of what you would like to be looking for as and when you check the educators' files as well as learners' books. As long as you've got something that you use, that you are, after having worked on it, going to print out and give it to the teacher to have a look at as part of the feedback. Right. Let's look at the template in front of us now, which is a proposal in terms of what HODs can use when it comes to file and book control. So this is the template. Here on top, you have the logo part. This is wherein you are likely to put the logo of your school, okay, in terms of what you consider as the logo of your school, all right? Then here you're going to have the name of the school, all right, and then the name of the template, that is the file and book control form, okay? So the first part or the top part of this template is the one which is intended to check on the teacher's file, all right? There you're going to have the name of the educator, all right, followed by the name of the subject. As the departmental head, you might find yourself heading maybe 2 subjects, okay? So therefore, this is going to be named according to the person responsible for the subject that you are checking the file of the teacher, all right? Fine. Then you're going to have the grade, then followed by the date on which, according to the management plan, that is the day on which you are checking the educator's file or the teacher's file, right? Now we come to the items that are listed in terms of what is it that the HOD can check in the teacher's file. Again, I must state up front that this is not only limited to the items that are here, okay? You can either have more of what is here or else limit yourself to what is here, depending on what you want to look for in terms of the teacher's files, okay? Then you have the information that you are going to indicate by means of ticking in terms of if you find the item to be in order or it needs attention or it is not there at all, it's not completed, okay, according to your findings. This is going to be dependent on what you find inside the file, all right? The first item, it speaks to the teaching plan, okay, or the work schedule. This is about the annual teaching plan. So the teacher should have the annual teaching plan of the subject that he or she is teaching, all right? Then the next one is the daily preparation sheet. So this speaks to the lesson plan template that we spoke about in our previous episodes, that teachers are supposed to have a template of lesson plans that they use to plan on whenever they develop lessons to be taught in the class, okay? Right, moving right along, the next one could be something that speaks to the worksheets that the teacher may have printed out or developed or found them somewhere and they are relevant to the content that he or she is teaching the learners in the class, okay? That is the next thing that should be contained in the teacher's file, right? Moving right along, it's going to be the assessment policy in terms of the subject that the teacher is teaching, okay, which is something that shall have been derived from the subject policy document in terms of the program of assessment, okay, right? Then the next one, which is number 5, is going to be assessment plans Okay, so this one can also be the assessment plan that has been developed in the school, or we can make sure that the teacher is having the program of assessment that speaks only to the subject that he or she is teaching, right? Number 6, we're going to have the assessment task and the memo rubrics that have been used as and when the teacher developed that particular assessment. So therefore, if there are assessment tasks or tests or assignments that have been developed, they will be contained in the file. And then when they are developed, if it's an assignment or a test, they should also be accompanied by a memo. Note number 7 is going to be the recording sheets, okay? So remember that after learners shall have been subjected to a particular formal assessment, their scripts are going to be marked, and then therefore the activity that is going to follow after that, it's going to be the recording of the marks. So those teachers' working mark sheets should be contained in the, or put or saved in the teacher's file. So this is one of the aspects that the HOD is going to check when the teacher's file is checked. All right, the next one is number 8. Number 8 speaks to analysis and moderation of evidence of formal assessment task. Okay, so it means now the HOD will have moderated that particular task so that we have evidence that this particular task has been moderated. And if the task has been administered and then the teacher has done analysis in terms of how learners have performed in the task that has been administered, the analysis of that particular formal task should be also put inside the teacher's file. So this is one of some of the things that the HOD is going to look for when he or she is checking the file, right? Then number 4, that is going to be the remarks, okay, in terms of the general remark that the HOD is going to give after having gone through the teacher's file. Okay, this is going to be something that is intended for developmental purposes, hence it's also useful when it comes to the QMS processes. So this is the first part of the form which speaks to the file of the teacher, which the HOD is going to check using this particular form. So we're going to move to the next part of this particular form, which speaks to the learner's books. Right, this part speaks to the learner's books that shall have been sampled to be checked by the HOD, okay? So we are having the space that accommodates 5 learners. This could be more than that, okay? Let's take, for instance, you decided to check at least 6 learners' books, okay? Or 6 learners' evidence of some task, okay? We can speak about, maybe it is about tasks that have been administered, or the learners' books themselves in terms of work that has been written by learners in the class. Okay, it is not only limited to the formal tasks that have been written. It can be about the informal one in the form of classwork or homework. All right, so here you're going to have the names of the learners whose books have been sampled to be checked by the HOD. Okay, right. Then in terms of the template, we're going to look at the standard of work in the learners' books, okay? Then you are having, again, the criteria that you are going to use here in terms of whether you find things to be in order or things are not in order, they need attention, or there's nothing at all, okay? So you're going to apply the tick based on your analysis of the situation as and when you go through the learner's books, okay? Let's look at the first aspect there that one can look for, okay? It is the issue of checking if does the work in the book correspond with the work in the ATP. Remember, teachers are supposed to make sure that they teach only the work which is prescribed according to the ATP in that particular subject. So when you go through the learner's books, when you go through the exercises that they have written, Is it something that has to do with what the ATP speaks about? Okay, so you're going to indicate here on the appropriate space. Okay, right. The next one is, does the work incorporate different cognitive levels? Okay, the nature of work that learners have been subjected to, does it test them at different levels, or is it all about simple questions, low order questions? Okay, so that is some of the aspects that must be looked at in terms of when the learners' books are checked. Okay, the next one is, there a variety of skills taught? Okay, depending on the skills that are supposed to be acquired or taught to the learners in that particular subject, you're going to make your own analysis as to whether there are some skills that have been covered or not. All right, the next one is the amount of work done sufficient? Okay, meaning that you're going to determine if the work is enough or not enough. Okay, right. Then the next one is the work marked and feedback given to the learners, remarks and corrections. Okay, so again, you're going to look in that particular aspect to check if the books are reflecting that the teacher has marked the books. Is he or she giving feedback to the learners in terms of the work that they have written or not? Okay, right. The next one, you're going to check if there are headings, dates, and the issue of neatness of the books. Okay, that is another thing that you can look for when you check the learners' books. Right. The next one is the proof of artwork in terms of visual art, if it's available. Okay, depending on the subject, of course, some of the subjects will have nothing to do with this particular aspect which is indicated here. So which means you may not include it if the subject is not making reference to this. Proof of practical activities available. All right, like I've indicated, depending on the subject that you are heading, it might happen that some of the subjects, they have some practical parts that learners should perform. So when you look at the activities, are they reflecting that particular aspect of having been asked to do some practical work or not? Okay, then you'll make your own analysis here. Then at the bottom, you're going to talk about the recommendations and the follow-up that you think maybe will be needed based on your findings after you've gone through that. So in short, this is a proposed template that HODs can make use of in terms of when they check the teacher's file as well as learners' books. Thank you once more for having this particular time to spend with us in terms of learning what are the important aspects that should be in the template that the HOD uses to check the teacher's file as well as the learner's books. Remember, don't forget to like the video or click on the subscribe button so that you can get some notifications in future in case I release videos. Thank you very much for your time.